TMZ Live. You have obviously seen pictures of newborns that the newborn can always keep as he or she grows up, and you can see what you look like as a baby. Well, there is a new kid in town who really is going to know what it looked like to be a newborn.
Yes, her name is Luna, and she arrived on a Twitch stream with tens of thousands of people watching it happen. That's because Mom happens to be a very famous Twitch streamer named Fandy. Normally, people are watching her play video games. This was not a game.
This was not a game.
They watched her give birth, and Fandy and her husband Brian are joining us right now, as well as Luna. Welcome to TMZ Live.
Hi.
Thank you.
Well, first of all,
We should say that this happened just
last night.
Yes.
how many? A few hours ago? 9 hours ago?
She was born at like 2:42 this morning.
So like 9 hours ago, yeah.
So 9 hours ago. Well, you guys don't look the worse for wear, I got to say. So good for you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Running on adrenaline, a lot of adrenaline.
Congratulations, number one.
Thank you.
And number two, why?
Why do this?
Well, I've been streaming for about 10 years, and I've kind of documented the past 10 years of my life pretty much, and a lot of the actual like pregnancy. We did a gender reveal on stream, and it was just a thing that I wanted to share with my community that I've had for the past 10 years, and so we did it. I got permission from Twitch, made sure it was all good and like not against the terms of service. Or
They were
anything.
very supportive, and it was,
Well, I am
Great.
curious what Twitch said to you. Where was the line for Twitch? What could be shown and what couldn't be shown?
I basically was just like, I have this idea that I want to do. Is it cool if I do it? And as long as it's, I don't show anything that nobody needs to see.
no
and it's
nudity and
respectful.
no blood.
Yeah.
No large amounts of like copious unnecessary blood. So
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute, no blood or no unnecessary blood? Those are two.
It's all necessary at
those
that
are
point.
two very big different things. Basically, just not a focus on it. So
Yeah.
So we should say, obviously, you've seen the video. It was you had a water birth
Yes.
at home. There were a lot of people, and not having gone through a childbirth myself, seemed like there were a lot of people in the room. Were you even aware of, I think I counted 9 people who were there, some of them
Yeah.
documenting what was going on. Actually, I guess 10, including the camera person.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest. A lot of them are like good friends of mine that have, been there throughout the pregnancy. A lot of them are streamers themselves, and then I had 2 midwives there during the entire process. So I'm not gonna lie. I don't know who was holding my hand, who was pushing on me. I was so out of it, but yeah.
it was a group effort. Really glad
was-
they were there because it was just subbing in and out with the rubbing her back and keeping her supported, and they were all amazing.
You've done Twitch for so long. It really does feel, you look at what Kai Cenat was doing last month, you look at what you're doing now, and it really is like the Truman Show. And I'm wondering is what you're doing and Kai Cenat and others, does it kind of, is shattering the concept of privacy? That privacy is no big deal anymore, the way we used to see it.
I don't know how to answer that.
I think a lot more of our daily lives are definitely open to be shared. As long as you're fine sharing it and people are interested in watching it, I don't see any harm in it. As long as you're doing it in a respectful way, and I think we manage that well enough.
Yeah. By the way, my question wasn't a criticism; it was just an observation. That privacy just seems to be, I don't know, it's going by the wayside for good or bad or whatever, but it just seems to be.
I think it's a great thing. There's a lot of guys, for instance, that have no idea what goes into a birth. I sure as hell didn't. I had no idea what it was going to be that intense. And I think it was very educational. So and it was great to just share it with everybody.
There was a moment, I guess it was right before Luna arrived, and you were, Fandy, like very vocal, as moms who are giving birth will be. And there was concern, I guess, hearing that kind of, you moaning like that. I'm wondering if you guys had thought about, obviously you're sharing all this with your family there on Twitch, but did you think about what if something went wrong? That was one thing that as I was watching the clip this morning, I thought, so brave of you to do this because things can go wrong. Was that something you discussed?
It's something we discussed with the midwives that we went with. They had a plan in place in case something was to happen. They have a hospital that was on standby if I needed to be transferred at any point in time, and they were very on top of it. They had done like thousands of births before, so I felt pretty comfortable.
So how many eyeballs did you get on this? I mean, did you break? If you didn't break a record for this, something's wrong.
I think on my personal channel last night, it peaked at around 30,000, and that wasn't including everybody else who was also watching along that had thousands of viewers as well. So I didn't catch, I wasn't.
Yeah, we haven't had time to go over any of the specific numbers so far,
Yeah.
but it was a lot more than we expected, to be honest. We were more or less expecting a lot of the people that come on a daily basis and watch to tune in, and it ended up being a lot more than we expected.
You know, you should have done it so that everybody who watched had to send baby clothes to you. You know? And it could have been like, okay, when Luna is 6 months, when Luna's a year,
you take
you wouldn't have to buy clothes for like 15 years.
I made a joke that everyone that was there when she was born was going to owe child support. So I am surprised that as many people stayed around as they did.
Well, listen, congratulations.
Yeah, congrats.
It's really sweet.
Thank you.
It's so good talking to you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we are going to keep it below the waist.
Yes, but clean, sort of. This time it's Travis Kelce's waist that we are referring to because thank God he has this podcast with his brother Jason so he can respond to the innuendo that was hurled his way by his fiance in the song Wood.
Where he is like a redwood, so she says.
I'll let you handle that part of it.
And he has opened her thighs, so she says. So it's pretty graphic, that song, but it's about Travis.
But it is about Travis, and so Jason on the New Heights podcast wanted Travis to be honest and tell people what he thinks about the fact Taylor wrote this song about his
junk
parts.
How do you feel about Wood? Let's ask this. How do you feel about Wood?
It's a great song.
Do you feel cocky? Do you feel cocky about the song Wood?
No,
Like,
I mean,
no?
any song that, you know, she
That's not
references
just-
me
that's
in
not just
is a
any
very-
song.
It's very like,
This
I
is a
don't know.
very specific you.
I love that girl. So what do you mean? Any song that she would reference me in any
Well, it's not just
way
you
or
though.
form.
It's an appendage. It's not just you as a.
What?
It's a very specific thing.
I think you're not understanding the song.
Travis, come on.
No way.
Redwood tree ain't hard to see. I thought redwood was a little bit, that's a generous word, I think.
Wow, a little dig there. I mean, Travis.
Is he saying that wasn't appropriate, or
Travis played that shtick perfectly. It was sort of like,
Yeah, he played it dumb, like
what are
he
you
had no
talking
idea.
about?
Huh? I don't know what the song is about.
I mean, that was so.
It is an awkward.
We know it's about Travis, but Taylor's also said it's like knock on wood,
Oh, please.
superstition.
No,
Yeah, I know.
No, she said that's what her mom thinks it is about.
I know, you know what? Good for her. I'm just upset that people like want all of her albums to be like they're coming out of Shakespeare's mouth. Like we need to let the girl have fun. This song is the best song on the album, and I stand by it. It is so good. The little Jackson 5 alleged like sample in there. It is so catchy, and I'm sick and
Do they
tired.
really have a Jackson 5?
It sounds
very Jackson
an
5.
interpolation, perhaps, of Jackson 5.
But it's so catchy. It's
ABC.
so good. And I've been telling all my friends this is my favorite song, and they're looking at me like I'm crazy. And I'm like, you guys just clearly are not listening.
Why didn't they release that song since that's the song that got all the attention?
Exactly. If it is
I
the
don't
catchiest
know.
song,
You're
why-
asking good questions.
That to me seems like a better lead single than.
Fate of Ophelia? I
Fate of
100%
Ophelia.
agree with you. I think this is the best song on the album, and I'm tired of people being like, her lyrics don't mean anything. Her lyrics are just like
Or
silly
even
and goofy.
Opalite. Or even Opalite would have been. Is it a little
Opalite
more
is going to be
upbeat,
playing
sort of?
literally.
I mean, listen, I dabble. I dabble in a little.
Opalite's a
Opalatism.
cut one.
Yeah, get out of here, man. You don't understand this.
Opalite's going to be playing in every Old Navy across the
exactly.
country here in a
And I
couple months.
think-
I'm
He's taking a
excited for it.
seat.
Yeah. No,
I
what's
really
the
don't
best
know.
song on the album?
Those are the only songs I know.
Okay, those are good ones.
all I got.
Those are good
Okay.
ones to pick.
Hi, I'm Jamie from Cleveland, and one, I want to say I agree completely.
it is the best song on the album. But I just love Jason Kelce playing Diane Sawyer and just getting the hard-hitting questions that us Swifties want to know. But no, I just love it. I love that Travis is being a little political. He's going with the whole superstition vibe. But I was dying at the Japanese maple comment. I just think.
Oh yeah.
We didn't play that.
Jason referred to himself as more of a Japanese maple,
Which is a tiny little
shrub.
Coming up.
What a time for Bad Bunny. I don't think he has heard as many old, stodgy politicians speak about him as he has since the Super Bowl announcement. And the latest entry to that list is Mike Johnson.
Be right back.
What a time for Bad Bunny. I don't think he has heard as many old, stodgy politicians speak about him as he has since the Super Bowl announcement. And the latest entry to that list is Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, who is also very critical, as you'd expect, I think, that he's going to be, most people on the right, critical of the fact that Bad Bunny is selected to do the Super Bowl halftime.
I don't think that's true.
You don't think what's true?
I don't think most people on the right
are against Bad Bunny.
I don't think he's too popular. And and the reality is,
hold on. There are a lot of Latinos. You're going to tell me it's not a right-wing speaking point?
There are a lot
to come out and say crap about Bad Bunny?
Maybe a speaking point, but there are a lot of Latinos who are Trumpers who I don't think are against Bad Bunny. And I think there are a lot of people who are not Latino who are not against Bad Bunny. Super popular, and people love him. And I don't think
I didn't say that people don't love him. Obviously, that's why they selected him to do the Super Bowl halftime. I have no issue. He should be doing the Super Bowl halftime. But you are fooling yourself if you think that people on the right are, regardless of how they actually feel.
All people on the right are saying this.
Hey, Mike, how do you feel about Bad Bunny doing the Super Bowl halftime show?
He's not the person I'm talking about.
How do I feel about it? I think it's a bad choice because people don't know his music.
There you go.
Well, wait a minute. People don't know his music.
There you go.
It's the Super Bowl. Football is an American sport. It's an American game.
Well, that's not,
it's an American
By
holiday.
the way, that's not what you said in the morning meeting.
You
said
earlier
you didn't like what he said.
Let's get to another Mike.
I don't like some of the things that he said, but I just think more so than anything else, he's a bad choice.
Okay, Mike Johnson has a different opinion. And Mike Johnson, I don't think is speaking for all Republicans. I do not believe it, but here's what he said.
Any reaction to Bad Bunny being chosen as the Super Bowl halftime performance?
I didn't even know who Bad Bunny was, but it sounds like a terrible decision, in my view, from what I'm hearing. What's that?
How come?
Well, it sounds like he's not someone who appeals to a broader audience, and I think, there's so many eyes on the Super Bowl, a lot of young, impressionable children, and I think, in my view, you would have Lee Greenwood or role models doing that, not somebody like this.
Somebody like this. What does like this mean?
I don't know. You tell me, Harv.
What is like
Hold
this?
on. You need
somebody like this.
You need no greater.
What does that mean?
You need no greater proof than that Bad Bunny is a flashpoint in this culture war than the fact that Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, said Lee Greenwood. Lee Greenwood is the guy you trot out to do "I'm proud to be an American" with the Blue Angels flying over.
It's a Trump rally.
It's a Trump rally. So that is true. You may not want to believe that this is a right wing, left wing thing going on, but it obviously is because he picked Lee Greenwood out. He didn't say Madonna. He didn't say another popular artist. He wasn't talking about what Mike said.
What they say about Kendrick?
He didn't say anything about Kendrick.
Did he say something last year
different point in the country, different point in the time?
Because he doesn't think Kendrick Lamar is anti-American. If you say Lee Greenwood, obviously the implication is that this guy is anti-American because Lee Greenwood is the most American.
But where did that come from? Bad Bunny is a Puerto Rican. He's an American citizen. That's what's disgusting about this.
We've had his tour here in America. That's
come on, dude.
I'm not saying it. I'm saying that's what they think, though.
We've had Shakira. We've had the Rolling Stones. This guy's an American, so this is not the person to have this argument over.
And the idea of even intimating that he's anti-American because he has a problem with what ICE is doing.
To be plucking his fans as they're walking.
They went after
arena.
a priest today. I mean, it is fair criticism, and you may disagree with him, but people disagree all the time on issues. I'm sorry, but when I was in college and we were protesting the Vietnam War, there were people. Richard Nixon was calling all of the protesters anti-American.
Well, Richard Nixon was right about
that.
You were very loudly
we were on the right side
speaking
of
up
that.
for change.
I don't know about the right side of that. My daughter's name is Nixon. And Nixon, that's a different argument.
What,
But
you're pro-war, pro-Vietnam War?
pro-Nixon. Those people were undermining American
Where are we going?
war efforts.
Hi, I'm Melissa from Pennsylvania, and I was just taken aback by Speaker Mike Johnson saying that Bad Bunny shouldn't headline because it's more than just ignorance. It's a straight up microaggression. I grew up in a white adoptive family that commonly used talking points like not somebody like this to talk down about brown and black people. And as a multiracial Latina, I know how important representation is, especially for families on the biggest stage in America. He uplifts Puerto Rico and Afro-Indigenous roots, and he just speaks to a lot of things that Americans can relate to.
Yeah, and a lot of Americans do relate to.
P.S.
But
he's a great performer. How about that?
And then there's that also. Well, Dolly Parton has been on the minds of millions of her fans since late yesterday when her sister said, I need everyone to pray for Dolly, that she is really under the weather. And her sister seemed concerned that this was going to be almost life or death.
Well, there's a reason that Dolly had canceled the beginning of her residency in Vegas.
Right.
And that was the beginning of what's going on with Dolly. And then it was followed by put her in your prayers. And now the sister is apologizing.
Sister is apologizing, which we'll get to in a moment, because more importantly, Dolly herself is reaching out to her fans and saying, I'm going to be okay.
Well, today's October the 8th, and obviously I'm here doing some commercials for the Grand Ole Opry. But before I got started, I wanted to say, I know lately everybody thinks that I am sicker than I am. Do I look sick to you? I'm working hard here. Anyway, there's just a lot of rumors flying around. But I figured if you heard it from me, you'd know that I was okay. And I'm not ready to die yet. I don't think God is through with me, and I ain't done working.
So she said...
Interesting she didn't call out her sister at all.
Well, but what I found interesting was when she said, people think I'm sicker than I am. So there is something, obviously, because we knew she canceled a residency.
She'd canceled a residency,
Well, she
and
didn't
that
cancel it. She
moved it till
postponed it.
Yes,
next
she
year.
postponed it. But she had a procedure for kidney stone
for kidney
removal.
stones. Yeah. So I mean,
So there's something she's been going through,
For
but
sure.
that's what was shocking when her sister said, pray for her. Suddenly you're like, well, wait, what could have gone so horribly wrong with a kidney stone procedure? She is 79, but still,
But when you say,
wouldn't think.
It's weird because I think in our culture, when you say pray for her, it means she could die.
I think pray for her when she's 79.
But what about
is
45?
more-
What about 45?
No, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to die.
We've talked about that when
Her
we've seen...
sister, by the way, her sister did clear this up and said that she didn't mean to scare anyone, and she didn't mean to make it sound so serious. You clearly took it that seriously, but I think that's because of 79.
But
not
the
because of
reality is,
prayer. People pray.
Dolly did pass a kidney stone.
You don't know that.
God.
Hi, I'm Ash from Atlanta, and I wanted to say, regardless of what Dolly's health status is right now or how open she's being about it, it's wild to see someone like Dolly go through something like this when she's always been larger than life. She's been a rock for so many people that now I think it's our turn to lift her up. So I think this just goes to show either way, our biggest legends are really human. So sending love and good energy to both her and her sister Frida.
Did I ever tell you my favorite trial I ever covered?
Only 400 times.
The 9 to 5 trial. Dolly Parton was amazing.
Coming up.
So with the government shutdown, one of the tension points is airports. And there was an alarming incident at one airport, at Hollywood Burbank Airport, where nobody was in the control tower. Now, they are still able to track planes in the air. How safe is it on the ground with an airplane?
Be right back.
TMZ's got every freaking thing. Big celebs, big stories, big events,
Phoebe Rexa was looking hot on vacation.
Look at the water, too.
Did you just say, look at the water? I mean, I'll be honest, that is what I was looking at.
With the government shutdown, one of the tension points is airports. And there was an alarming incident at one airport, at Hollywood Burbank Airport, where nobody was in the control tower. And it had to do with people calling out sick, and the
This
fact
has been
that
happening at O'Hare, it's happened at Newark, it's happened in Nashville. It's becoming a growing problem across the country.
now they are still able to track planes in the air, but Charles and I were talking before that what about on the ground? I mean, we saw
When there's
two Delta.
no one in the tower.
We saw two Delta planes collide not too long ago, days ago, on the ground.
That was in LaGuardia when there was someone in the tower.
That's right.
So what happens?
And we've seen other incursions as well.
Right.
So, how safe is it on the ground with an airplane? Jim Holcomb is an old and dear friend of mine when I was doing local news and after.
And more importantly, a veteran pilot.
A pilot for the NBC affiliate in Los Angeles, the Fox affiliate in Los Angeles. He flew helicopters all over this area and would take off and land at Hollywood Burbank Airport. So Jim is joining us right now. Jim, welcome back to TMZ Live.
Hey, good to be back, Harv.
So, you concerned about the fact that sometimes ain't no one in the tower?
Major concern. I mean, the very bad safety hazard. In the absence of somebody in the control tower at an airport that size, you've got way too many commercial Part 121 aircraft. Those are scheduled aircrafts that are coming in. You got civilian aircraft. There is a workaround for it, but it requires that everybody's on the same page and everybody knows what they're going to do. But you were talking about ground traffic. When you don't have a control tower, you use a common frequency, a common traffic frequency. In this case, it would be whatever Burbank's frequency is, and pilots would broadcast into the blind. Aircraft ABC is at the fuel pits, taxiing to the active runway 25 for takeoff, and that's how they would do it. The actual call would be something like this. Burbank helicopter 525 is at the fuel pits, taxiing to hold short of runway 25 for a 25 departure, Burbank. You say the name of the airport at the beginning and the name of the airport at the ending. The idea is that inbound aircraft hear you, they know what you're doing. People that are on that same frequency, they hear you, they know what you're doing, and then you have the responsibility now to see and avoid and check, make sure that you can take off and get that departure, that either straight out departure in most cases for Burbank, just a straight out departure, and then contact SoCal approach once you get in the air.
Jim, I hear you saying what the workaround is, just to be clear. So now pilots, instead of just listening to an air traffic controller in the tower telling them where to go, who's also telling other people, now all pilots have to listen to all the other pilots, and you've all got to be on trust that you're all hearing it.
That's right. That's right. And
wow.
An airport that size with that much traffic, it is very dangerous, especially if you have like novice pilots and non-commercial pilots coming in and out of there. I would be a circus. I would stay totally away from Burbank unless I had to land there.
Well, what about O'Hare, where you've got scores of airplanes that are moving? That's an enormous airport. And if it happens there, even if they're all commercial pilots, that doesn't feel real safe.
Well, no, and you've also got a lot of major airports in that vicinity, too. You've got, I think, 3 major airports. You got Kennedy, LaGuardia, O'Hare. Am I correct on that?
Oh, Kennedy, LaGuardia in New York, O'Hare in...
You got Midway and O'Hare.
and Midway in Chicago.
All right, so you've got major airports that are also taking off. Now, if they're taking off with control tower, guidance, they're going to have certain airways that they're using. They're on an instrument flight plan, and here you are taking off. Hopefully, if you're a commercial airline, you're going to file an instrument flight plan, then activate it as soon as you get in the air, because you don't have anyone to talk to on the ground unless you can activate it on the ground. It's going to require a lot of orchestration, really.
So it requires a lot of pilots now. If you're someone who has a flight coming up, should you be concerned about safety, really, if you're flying into one of these airports where they have air traffic controllers calling out and they don't have enough people.
If I knew in advance that they were having problems at an airport, there is no way that I would take off or land at that airport. Because quite frankly, most pilots are, so much into automation. They have autopilots. A lot of these guys have difficulty actually doing a manual landing. Now, I'm not, besmirching them or anything like that. It's just the way the system works, and I would not go.
Jim, the other thing I was just thinking about is when I was a reporter at CBS here, I remember an incident where there was a SkyWest aircraft that was on the runway ready to take off, and a Southwest plane was coming in, and it pancaked the SkyWest, and everybody died on SkyWest. And, if you don't have somebody eyeballing it from the tower, it just feels like it magnifies the problem.
Well, totally. And again, you're going to be total VFR when you're coming in. You're going to have to watch and make sure who's in your downwind, which is parallel to the runway. Turning a base turn for final. You're going to have to sequence yourself with the other pilots. You're all going to have to work together. That's what the control tower does. Is they sequence airplanes coming in, and you're going to have to do that yourself. And as a commercial pilot, that's way like you haven't done that in a long time. So, it's very, very dangerous.
Oh, wow. Well, thankfully, we have not gotten to that point with no one in the tower yet in major airports. But, the longer this government shutdown goes down, it's going to get hairy.
Over here where I fly, anytime I talk to an air traffic controller, I always thank him for his service when he's done, because I really appreciate their effort and their service.
And they're doing it now for no pay. So,
no.
Okay, Jim, thank you so much.
Okay.
Coming up.
The feds made a big arrest. I didn't know that they were still searching for the person who started the Palisades fire, the devastating Palisades fire, and now they've arrested this person. His name is Jonathan Rinderknecht, and they arrested him in Florida.
Be right back.
Welcome back to TMZ Live. The feds made a big arrest, one that we weren't really looking for. I didn't know that they were still searching for the person who started the Palisades fire, the devastating Palisades fire here in Los Angeles back in January. They had a suspect that they'd been working on for months, and now they've arrested this person. His name is Jonathan Rinderknecht, and they arrested him in Florida. He apparently has an address in Florida, but did live in the LA area at some point around the time of the fires.
So this is real CSI work that authorities did here. It is now a federal charge against him, federal charges. Here's a little bit of the news conference that will kind of break down how they caught this guy.
Today, we are announcing the arrest of 29-year-old Jonathan Rinderknecht for igniting a fire that ultimately burned down the Palisades. The allegations in the affidavit are supported by digital evidence, including the defendant's ChatGPT prompt of a dystopian painting showing in part a burning forest and a crowd fleeing from it. He exited the car, walked up a nearby trail, took iPhone videos at a nearby hilltop, and listened to a rap song whose music video including objects being lit on fire. Law enforcement got to work and by January 24th had identified and interviewed the defendant. During his interview, he lied about where he was when he first saw the Lockman fire, claiming he was near the bottom of a hiking trail. Geolocation data for the 911 call showed that he was standing above the fire in a clearing merely 30 feet from the blaze as it rapidly grew.
So what really happened here is, according to authorities, he started the fire and then immediately tried calling 911. And he was in a canyon, so the calls didn't go through initially, eventually got through, and then fled the scene when he saw the fire trucks coming up the hill. He turned around and followed the fire trucks up and took pictures of
the area where they were fighting the fire. In fact, the feds in the indictment actually released at least one of the photos that he allegedly took up on that hillside.
So what's really interesting about this is that the blaze did not start the day that he started the fire.
So this to me is where everything is going to be focused over the next few weeks and potentially longer.
We should say the charge that he's facing is destruction of property by means of fire.
So what's really, it leads right to that, because he starts this fire allegedly on January 1st. The fire that ended up destroying all the property and killing the people did not actually break out until January the 7th. The theory is that the prosecutors are articulating is that the fire smoldered underground. So firefighters came out. It was incredibly hot, 100 degrees or whatever it was. Firefighters come out. They fight the blaze. They think it's out, but it's smoldered, according to prosecutors, and then it eventually erupts on January 7th. The difficulty I think prosecutors are going to have is this is an open hiking trail in a very popular hiking area. There were hundreds of people that would have come up between January 1st when he started the fire and January 7th when it broke out. How do prosecutors, Harvey, prove causation between his acts and what happened on January 7th?
Also the fact that it's going to totally be his defense. And what they're going to also say is that if the fire department did not put it out, it's on them.
Yes, he actually called the fire department and said there's a fire. I know they said that he maliciously said it.
Yeah.
They didn't really explain what they mean by that.
So they found a lot of stuff.
Well, they found this image of a city burning. And look.
No, but how do they? Why did they say he maliciously set the fire? Because there must be something they found there.
There's a lot of inference there, but
I don't think there's any inference there. They're saying that that he lied about where he was. They were able to tell where he was.
You're missing what I'm saying. My point is, what did he use to set the fire?
As opposed to an accidental fire.
Right, exactly. How is it not accidental that he started the fire, which does happen when people...
It's circumstantial evidence, but the guy is coming back.
Yeah.
He's got a picture of the city burning before he...
Created on ChatGPT, some sort of image of the city burning, right.
And there's this thing where arsonists sometimes will start a fire and they will then follow the fire department because they get a thrill out of the reaction they get to the arson.
There's been bombers and things like that come and they watch the fallout. They enjoy watching them.
Right.
Just to go back to this point that I was raising a minute ago, if they can't show causation between what he did on January 1st and the fire that broke out on January 7th, he's in trouble for intentionally starting a brush fire that was put out. There's really not much there.
Right.
The difference between that and what eventually happened is capital punishment. You can be put to death for killing people in an arson.
And that's his defense.
Right.
Mia from Atlanta. What happened in the Palisades is absolutely devastating. Whether it was intentional or malicious act, it's still, knowing the history of California wildfires, like, you can start a wildfire in California. Like, it could be anything that starts it. And I just think at the end of the day, people losing their belongings, apparently, I'm hoping that's justified enough for this man to feel the weight of the justice system, because again, it's a history of California for wildfires to be started, and it doesn't matter what can start them. So whether it was malicious or intentional.
Well, intentional.
There's a big difference. There's a big difference between like nature starting a fire and someone intentionally starting one. Even though we have a lot of wildfires, someone should be held responsible if they actually did intentionally do it.
By the way, intentional and malicious are exactly the same thing. And it's pretty clear the authorities are saying, with the pictures and everything else, anybody would come to the conclusion he did it on purpose.
Adam Levine is picking up stakes and moving out of Montecito, or at least where he is currently in Montecito. Still maybe staying in the area, but
blame his kids.
But you can always blame the kids. These damn kids. But listen,
no, it's true.
Someone is benefiting from his decision to move because he sold his house for $60 million.
Wait a minute. Someone's benefiting? He's benefiting.
Well, he's benefiting, but someone's getting, look what they're getting.
It is beautiful. It is a beautiful estate. I mean, it's just incredible.
This is in Montecito, obviously a super nice area of Santa Barbara. This house actually was built in 2009 for Rob Lowe.
Look at that.
And then Rob Lowe
by the way, Rob Lowe is a major real estate guy in that area.
I didn't even know that.
Major.
So it was built for him, and then Adam bought it 3 years ago.
I remember when he bought it.
When Adam bought this?
Yeah.
So he actually, I forgot what the interior designer was, but it's someone who works with like Ellen DeGeneres, the Kardashians. I guess Adam is super into interior design. So he redid the whole inside with an interior designer. But you kind of tease this at the beginning, Harvey. So basically the reason they're selling this house, because you look at it and like, why would you ever leave this place, is they wanted to be closer to where their kids go to school. I'm not sure how far of a drive or how far the commute was before, but apparently
Get the kids a new
they
school,
bought
man.
some.
Let 'em.
They bought land. I think near the new school, and they're building a new property.
Get the kids an
so.
apartment by the school.
Dude, it's nice taking your little kids to school.
But what did he?
That house.
So he sold it for $60 million.
He bought
What did
this
he buy
for
it
52.
So
he didn't.
Well, no, because when you look at real estate fees, when you
No,
look
he's not
at
making much, is what I'm saying.
that's one of the most beautiful homes I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's
Somehow
super
I
nice
think
place.
Adam Levine's going to land on his feet. And he'll have a nice. He's not getting a
Hey guys,
condo.
Guys, pray for him.
Coming up.
The culture wars are raging on, and Zack Bryan is right in the middle of the latest one, as we expected. We told you yesterday about this song that he is putting out. It's called Bad News, and it is extremely critical of ICE agents.
Kristi Noem is pissed off.
Be right back.
Welcome back to TMZ Live. The culture wars are raging on, and Zack Bryan is right in the middle of the latest one, as we expected. We told you yesterday about this song that he is putting out. It's called Bad News, and it is extremely critical of police, of ICE agents, of the immigration policy, of the Trump administration.
He zeroes in. Kristi Noem is pissed off, but first, if you haven't heard it, here's the portion of the song that triggered her.
ICE is gonna come bust down your door. Try to build a house, no one builds no more. But I got a telephone. Kids are all scared and all alone.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem was talking about this on the Benny podcast with Benny Johnson. And here's what she has to say to Zack Bryan over Bad News.
I heard that and listened to a little bit of it and extremely disappointed and disheartened, and actually I hope he understands how completely disrespectful that song is, not just to law enforcement, but to this country, to every single individual that has ever stood up and fought for our freedoms. He just compromised it all by putting out a product such as that. So, Zack, I didn't listen to your music. I'm happy about that today. Today, that makes me very happy that I never once gave you a single penny.
She is Richard Nixon, you know, where Nixon
about the
said,
freedoms?
love it or leave it. It's like, yeah, what about the freedom of the small kid that was zip tied and taken out naked from an apartment? So you can be critical of that. And you might even agree with some of what they're doing, but not all of what they're doing. And that doesn't make you un-American. And it's I'm sorry, but you can't say somebody's un-American for disagreeing with part of your policy.
One of the freedoms that she said everyone fought for is the freedom of speech, which seems to be getting tossed to the wayside lately. But Zack Bryan, we talked about this, that, look, we just heard one part of this song, and I think I understandably guessed, well, it's not like he's just going to flip it around and suddenly be on the other side of the aisle. Guess what? Zack Bryan says that's exactly what you're going to hear. He says, this song is about how much I love this country and everyone in it more than anything. When you hear the rest of the song, you will understand the full context that hits on both sides of the aisle. Everyone using this now as a weapon is only proving how devastatingly divided we all are. We need to find our way back. What I suspect from what he just said, what the song is actually going to be, is a reflection of both sides and what he's really singing about when he says bad news, the fading of the red, white, and blue, Civil War.
Yeah, and by the way,
we are so divided. You're gonna hear both perspectives in the song, but his point is, we got to stop this.
And I want to say that there is plenty of criticism you can have on the other side too about cancel culture going overboard, and you know there are people who are really upset that the COVID policy was too extreme. And so there is a lot you can look at on both sides. But whichever side you're on, you can't call somebody un-American because they disagree with you on a policy. It's wrong.
Coming up.
Earlier we were talking about Bad Bunny and the backlash against him being selected. Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, saying that he was not the right pick for the Super Bowl halftime because not a good role model. Well, I think the Speaker of the House will be interested in seeing what happened at Yankee Stadium last night.
Be right back.
So earlier we were talking about Bad Bunny and the backlash against him being selected. Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, saying that he was not the right pick for the Super Bowl halftime because not a good role model. Well, I think the Speaker of the House will be interested in seeing what happened at Yankee Stadium last night. Bad Bunny was sitting there behind home plate. They actually showed him at one point during the game because a foul ball came in his section. But we just got an image of Bad Bunny later in the game during the 7th inning stretch when at Yankee Stadium and a lot of stadiums, they traditionally play God Bless America. They ask everyone to stand and remove their hats, just like the national anthem. And what you see in this image here is Bad Bunny and his friends sitting during God Bless America.
So this is a live photo. So you can actually hear a second of what was actually happening during the moment he was sitting here. So we're going to play it for you. And it's very quick, but to our ear, and we've listened to this multiple times, you seem to hear the crowd singing "Guide Her," as in stand beside her and guide her. Right. And you'll hear the voices go down. So we'll play it a couple of times. Here it is. Guide her, guide her, guide her.
Yeah,
so
guide her.
Guide her. So that's toward the beginning of the song, depending on whether they use the preamble.
The opening, But Bad Bunny is sitting there in a green baseball cap with his friends. Now, is it a big deal? There are going to be people who certainly will make a big deal of the fact that he was not standing during God Bless America. We don't know, haven't seen any images of him during the national anthem. But I will say, having been at a lot of baseball games at Yankee Stadium, not necessarily everyone stands for God Bless America, but I will also say, you notice when people don't.
We can't jump in his head and say
here's doing it as protest.
That's
right.
right.
Has been doing it because you're sitting and didn't know that this was a thing you traditionally stand for.
But it's such a politically charged thing right now.
Right.
That, we've already heard, Mike Johnson and others, go after him just because
this is going to add fuel to that fire.
Coming up.
What's the date when Kim Kardashian finds out if she passed the bar?
I think November 3rd, and the public finds out like the 6th or 7th.
Well, November 4th is when All's Fair comes out.
Oh!
Be right back.
What's the date when Kim Kardashian finds out if she passed the bar?
I think November 3rd.
Well, November 4th is when All's Fair comes out.
Oh!
They could not have timed that intentionally, right? But All's Fair is the Ryan Murphy series where Kim Kardashian is leading an all-female law firm, divorce lawyers. So, new trailer just dropped. Now you're finally getting to see a little bit more of Kim's acting.
I tell my clients every day, you never really know a person. It's just a trap.
Guess who's here with me right now? Chase, say bye-bye to your future ex-wife.
Bye-bye.
See you in court, you poor discarded. Let's light her on fire. You are the victim here. And every tear you shed is $100K in your pocket.
It's so campy, which is kind of good. And she's had experience in divorce.
Will she be Kim Kardashian Esquire when it comes out?
We will see.